I've always been dancing, mostly hip-hop, and later on I fell in love with house dance because it was so free and spiritual. Listening to these house tracks, there would sometimes come on this song with very African drums in it. When I heard that, that sound would make me move in a whole different way. It was so undeniable. Before that, I danced all kinds of different dance styles, but that African beat drew me to it so much, I just wanted to understand the story behind it. Why did it command my movement so strongly, and why did it command me? I looked into it and I learned there are all sorts of African dances that I started to understand and get more and more fascinated by. And I don't know, when I tried dancing them, it flew kind of naturally and it felt exactly like me. So I wanted to understand what is it that draws me to African dances so much. Given that I'm from Europe, I have no African DNA in me whatsoever. But when I hear those beats, I interpret it as part of me. And I noticed quite soon that I wasn't the only one either. But I started to feel a bit conflicted. It's is it okay? Can I? Should I? Am I respecting the culture? As much as I love the culture, when I use elements of it, am I respecting the people who created this? Do I know where everything I use is from? Does everybody know where everything they use is from? These are important questions that I wanted to explore. So I went to Africa. I went to Ghana, Ivory Coast, Uganda, and Kenya, home to some of the most famous African dancers. And I wanted to find out from people who live this, whether first, they appreciate that their styles have taken the world by storm, and second, how can I do more to respect and celebrate the culture when I'm living in Europe? Seeking to understand the roots of African dance, it became very clear to me that I could not understand it without first getting to know African music and how the two connect and guide one's life.
They are talking drums. All the drums talk. They tell you something to do. We believe and we believe that the music is part of our culture and our life, and so we live. Because when we look at Ghana, Africa at large, most of the things that we go through in life is full of music. When a baby is born, he makes a sound, and music is made up of sound, rhythm, vibration, melody, scales, you can mention it. And when a baby cries, there is a sound, and that sound can become rhythmic or can be made to follow a particular pattern. When the baby cries within a particular pattern, you can say nya, 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 nya. That can become a pattern. It's making a music. And when there is sound, there is vibration, and there is movement to that vibration to dance. Right from birth, as you've been outdoored into the society, there is music playing. So in Ghana, when you go to outdoor and naming ceremonies, there is music, and this music talks about welcoming a child into the society. So if this is not part of the life of the people, they are not going to do it. But because they know that when they sing, they are welcome you. So some of the lyrics and the text talks about you are welcome, we are happy to have you, where you are coming is the world, and in this world when you come, these are the things that happen. Some of the lyrics of the songs, this is what they take. In general, actually, Afrobeat is not Afrobeat without the traditional dances. I'm going to give you an example. The religious movement. in a dance called Bamaya. Bamaya. This movement is in Bamaya. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And this movement, Bamaya of the northern region of Ghana. And this movement is in Afrobeat. You go pa 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 cha pa ta 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 ta. That movement is in Afrobeat. How there is this belief that you cannot be what you are not. What a man thinketh, so he is. What you have in you is what comes out. Afrobeat movements cannot come from somewhere unknown. They are coming from the tradition that we have. So the movements are taken from the traditional dances, but it's just that Afrobeat is of the youth, of the mass, and that is what they use to communicate their feeling to the authorities or to the issues around them. That's what the youth use to express and address issues that are happening around them. So, and they cannot do all these movements without any basics. They already have basics in them. They already have the traditional dances in them already. So when they are feeling free to improvise the traditional, to improvise whatever they have in them, it is being picked from what they already know. That is why when you see an African doing an Afrobeat and you see someone from different country doing an Afrobeat, you feel the person doing from another country may be executing correct movement and may have the movement being elaborated very well than the African. But when you look at both of them, what you feel, the expression the Africans give you will be different from the expression the other ones give you, because the African is dancing with an understanding. It is part of him. So he embodied the movement with an energy because the blood flows. But the difference is that his is natural, this is artificial. Even though the artificial could look better than this, but the feeling is different. So that is why sometimes it takes some tourists and anthropologists who have visited Africa, and when you see their performance, you can feel that the same thing in them. You can only feel that in them, and then you get to know that, oh, this person has ever been to Africa. That is to say that African uses multi-senses, differentiating between the various musical instruments and picking which one you are responding to dance. You're also hearing the music at the same time. You are watching the people around you, the audience and the participants at the same time, and the musicians who are giving you the prescriptive rhythms for you to dance to. So you look at them and you feel their energy.
Cultural appropriation versus appreciation. What does it mean that African dances are now being practiced around the world? Is the African culture being stolen, or is it being celebrated?
I think that Afrobeat became big because in Europe, because first of all, the music, this beat that just involves your body. Anybody can feel the beat, And the way they move, so groovy, it attracts. Before it was hip hop, and now it becomes Afrobeat, because everybody is actually using Afro. But I think it also went with understanding the black person in Europe, understanding, what it means for a black person to live in Europe or live in the US, I don't mind people willing to learn from other cultures at all. How can I? My mom was one of those. But I understand that you have to respect that, for some people, this is their identity. And not make it your identity. Use it, take it, mix it, but know where it comes from. Understand, give the understanding, It's amazing because I see that it gives confidence to this country to have people coming here and being so passionate about learning from this country. But I think people here also fear that it will be the same thing that happened 400 years ago. They would take and just use it for their own purpose, and that never something will be an exchange. you know?
It's kind of like annoying. I think if people like actually practice the dance from that direction, it means that they're taking a lot of stuff for granted. That means that they're taking my culture for granted. So I think from that point of view, it's kind of like annoying. Like it pisses off and it's disappointing and it's very sad. So I think people should really look into the culture, like the African culture, and understand it for what it is. And I think once you do that, you'll be able to express it through dance in a very like dope and supernatural way.
So the reason why the world always gravitates to black dance and black arts is because it's freeing. It's freeing. And everybody wants to be free. And it's done by people who knows what it feels like to not be free. So when we do our art, it is explosively fucking free. And that's why everyone goes there.
Do all Afro teachers need to be black?
At this point, yes. Why? Because they haven't been doing it long enough to teach. Like if you're teaching locally, if you're teaching, there's a difference. Like, okay, I want to teach my local kids from my neighborhood when I went out and learned. That's cool. But you also have to teach them that they need to go out and learn because there's a limit to what you can teach them. But if you're teaching at big events like this, I feel there's a problem because you don't have enough knowledge to sit down and have the Q&A after class.
How can you take an element from another culture in a respectful manner? It seems like I found the answer when the words culture and history began to repeat every time I spoke to someone about this topic.
Like in Africa, like most of the dance, like we don't just dance for the sake of it. Like if you look at like most of the traditional dances, like there are dances for particular like occasions, like for weddings, for like initiation, like when boys are going to like get circumcised and stuff. There are dances for like Thanksgiving for the harvest. Yeah, like it's really cool. There are dances for like courtship, like when you see a beautiful lady, there's a particular dance that you do so that you can be able to like get her vibe and stuff. So yeah, I think and it's mostly like expressive, like there's meaning to the dance itself and the movements. There's a dance for like when you've lost someone and you're mourning. There's a particular dance for that. There's a particular dance for weddings and stuff. So yeah, like there's a meaning like for every movement in dance, especially the African dance.
So for someone to even dance it or teach it, they need to know the different meanings.
Yeah, they need to know kind of. But then there are also others, like when you're just happy when people are taking like their traditional brew and stuff, and they just want to dance for fun, like a cultural, like just like a cultural thing of having fun.
Yeah,
people also do that. Some people dance to appease the ancestors and stuff. I know it sounds British a bit, but some people do that. So
okay,
yeah, dances. Yeah, like it has a lot of meaning to us. It means a lot to us.
Better to get on the ground and get to meet the right people, and you talk to the locals themselves, mainly the elders. The young ones will change a lot of things because we're trying to survive, so we end up having things that are premature, like mediocres, trying to survive. Because yeah, so it's good to come and go to the elders and they will tell you the right stories, and even us, we ask from the elders to start teaching this. So you don't just come from nowhere and start teaching, even if it's happening with some people. But it is good to know where it is from, how it started, and what happens with it, and the future of it.
Most people in Europe
the dance, but I go like, no, they need to come back to the root and learn. So if I see a white dancing and that person has been in Africa before, I respect the person. Why? Because he or she traveled all the way from the country to learn from the root, and she paid as well.
What do you think about white people dancing African dances?
I think it's normal. You know, white people, not every white person can dance. Not every white person have rhythm. So if you get a white person who dance African dance, meaning the person is extraordinary. It takes very special people to dance contemporary or African dance. You don't just take dumb people to dance African dance. When you see a white person dancing African dance, meaning the person have come far. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing they need to learn, because we've done this hip hop and the rest for over ages, and they are not learning our dance. So it's a plus for us. And at least they hyping Africa. Yeah, basically Africa is going to the world through Afrobeat and Afro-Latin. Yeah. So a white person can teach African dance if only the person is ready to learn everything about Africa. Sure, but I can just learn the basics and teach. It's error. Yeah.
Guy man no fi guy man. You know get money you dey from Jackie Chan. But my fit am like a boshika. You just chef me can no job on nuka. He don't know the carry man fly. Trouble the sleep you for shine your eye. Make you no envy another man's high. You fuck what you miss when I finish your race.
Celebration versus appropriation. The thing that you spoke about is like inviting into your house. Like, where does respect for the culture end and where is it inappropriate?
Well, the absolute spot where it ends is where you say, "This is mine," or the other one that I love so much, "It's for everybody." It's not black culture, it's everybody. I think that's disgusting. Yeah, it is for everybody, meaning we share with everybody. Yeah? Even if, like I said, I always use the house metaphor. If I have my doors open and everyone comes in and hangs out and chills, it is for everybody, but that is still my house. I am the one who laid the foundations and built it, and cleaned it, and dreamed of it before it existed. I just invited folks in to share my dream. And people have to see it like that. You get invited to share someone's culture, and a lot of the culture is part of our dreams. And if you want to say that my dream is now yours, it's not fresh at all.
Learning. It seems like we have to keep learning to survive. It makes us feel alive. And it rarely happens that someone would try to discourage you from literally anything, as long as you show honest interest and passion. The willingness to learn and determination to dig deeper in researching what African dance is truly about seems to be the key to gaining acceptance and showing respect.
Jay-Zena and they tra. We got the beat, we got the music, we give it choice, we make it juicy. African boys, you know we wicked. AEMG baby. Everybody come around, enjoy the party, have some fun. African girls go turn you on.
This one is like for Afrobeat dancer. Sometimes they use them. I will show you how to use them. This one is because when you dance Afrobeat, you have to respect the rules. If you don't respect the rules, they use them. You better do. You understand? Yeah, you understand?
Africans love to see people from around the world embracing their dance, or at least those that I've met. Clearly, they deserve recognition for what they've created. And perhaps the way to do it is through spreading knowledge about the culture further.
En tout cas, moi, quand je vois des personnes de race blanche en train de danser le coupé décalé, je suis ébloui, je suis ébloui de joie. Parce que le coupé décalé, on a tendance à dire que c'est seulement pour les Africains, mais seulement pour les Ivoiriens. Alors que tout le monde, c'est un style qui peut s'adapter à tout le monde. C'est un style qui s'adapte à tout. C'est un style qui compose plusieurs danses, plusieurs styles à la fois. C'est un style qui est ouvert, il est arc-en-ciel. Il est arc-en-ciel. Au début, on faisait comme ça. Après, on peut changer les modèles. Après, on est comme ça. C'est un style. Tout ça, c'est un mélange. C'est ce qui donne du afro. Le afrobeat, c'est en quelque sorte le coupé décalé mélangé. Parce que si une personne vient ici, une personne de race blanche vient ici, qu'il envoie son style de danse, moi, je peux l'appliquer. Et je peux le mélanger avec mon style de coupé décalé. Et je vais lui donner sa chorégraphie. Avec lui, son style de danse. À travers mon coupé décalé que je connais, je trafique lui son style qui m'envoie et je mélange. Ça me donne un coupé décalé moderne. Et ça me donne un coupé décalé afrobeat. Ça me donne un mix, un afro-mix décalé.
Everybody can dance afrobeat. Let's say, yes, everybody. Everybody, even grown-ups, grandma, kids, yes, they can dance afrobeat. That doesn't make you unique. You have to be unique to yourself. You have to have something that, this person can't do it. Even if you want to learn it, unless you try hard before you get it. But Afrobeat is something that even when they watch it, that is it. And the white people, they take it and they do it different way. I can dance Afrobeat, but it will look like someone. But a white will dance and you see some kind of challenges. You'll be like, yeah, this one, like, but it's the same thing, but you can't see.
You don't have to be normal. How can you come on the stage and dance and look normal? Like, we know you, your name is Sinclair. Okay, when you walk, you do your shit, you know your behavior, you know how to act, how you act. When you come on the stage, you dance and you don't see something different. You're just dancing. Even you want to bring something different, but it doesn't have to be different too. It has to be spiritual.
I would say I would encourage every dancer in the world to adapt, because we are in an evolving world and change is not a bad thing. So we should adapt to any style that we want to or we feel like adapting to. Today is Afro. Tomorrow might not be Afro. Yesterday was hip hop. Today is Afro. Tomorrow might be crap. Might be something entirely new. So when you get the opportunity, learn what you can. That's what I would tell any dancer I meet or anyone watching this or listening to me. When you get the opportunity, just learn what you can. That's all.
Bad man, pull up your lightest open, bend for me. Pull up in it, yeah. Pull up in it, yeah. Pull up in it, yeah. Hey, pull up in it. What's it? Let me hear you say it. Do the shoulder, do the waist. Let me see you wipe on the floor. Wind the shoulder, wind the waist. How did that get wine on the floor? Pull up, baby, wind up. We go mash up the place and turn up. Raise your lighter, burn up. Oi. From the 90s, we bad up. Pull up. Wine dirty. Link up. Pull up in the building. Oi. See,
All the dirty girl, body wine on the floor, let me see it. Pull up, wine dirty. Let me hear it. Wind up your booty tiptoe, go hard on the dance floor. Say bad man, pull up your lighter, soap and pen for me. Say wind up your booty tiptoe, go hard on the dance floor.